Yo, 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 what is going on, everybody? It is Justin, your guide into the Forgotten Runiverse. And as Gandalf says, a wizard is never late. However, I'm just going to say I'm freaking late. I haven't had as much time as I really wanted to play the Forgotten Runiverse. Just personal reasons, of course. The playtest was long. So, by all means, if you had a chance to drop in, there's just so much more to do than, the previous builds. Back when we played, I guess last year in November, there's a lot more NPCs. There are more spells, there are more abilities, there are more, sets of armor to collect and build and craft, and more. I guess you go into the Mage Workshop to craft all those things by all means. But I really wanted to cap off just the Runiverse by kind of talking about, hey, what's new inside of the game? And of course, since I'm only at level 18, quite shamefully so, I haven't necessarily grinded through everything yet. Of course, there's so many recipes that you can find just by killing enemies inside of the world, right? So, again, most of the core recipes can actually be acquired. And okay, I should probably talk about why recipes are important. Recipes are what you use to, inscribe into your recipe book and craft your armors, which is going to be really important because they provide different types of buffs. They cost, you have to go collect inside the Runiverse and kill different enemies to get these types of things, and I guess build the way that you want to play inside of the game. And there's a ton of ways that you can play, of course. But again, I haven't got through everything. However, why don't we take a look at what's new inside of the Runiverse? So again, I guess the easiest way to show this would be the addition of dungeons, and you can actually find this by just clicking up here. It'll pull you up to the map. You'll see 3 new green dots, or two of them, of which will be new dungeons. And again, these will provide you an opportunity to dive into more bosses, more areas that you can explore, stuff like that. And then, of course, at the very top here is actually the Cerulean Gardens, which is the Blue Wizard Bastion, of which you can go, I guess, build on your land if you have it inside of the Wizard Capital, or I guess just harvest new stuff. But we'll go explore all those things. We'll take a look at the first dungeon here, which is the Windmill of the Wild. And I'll only stay here for a little bit. We'll kill a couple enemies, and we'll just kind of see how gameplay is inside of the game. But when you drop into the dungeon, you can actually see there's a crap load of people here because everybody's looking for, a 4-man in order to kind of play out the dungeon, because that's probably the best way to kind of survive through the game. So I actually need to turn down my volume just a tiny bit here so I can actually read through. But again, it'll kind of show you, hey, take a journey into the wild's past to a time where a great forest covered the region, and a witch known as Larissa walked to these woods, offering powerful short-term solutions at very steep long-term costs. Great. So when you start the story, it'll essentially load you into the zone, and it will kind of show you, hey, this is a dungeon. It's going to show you, I guess it'll drop a Star Wars type of, I guess, lore here. I'll let you guys pause the video if you want to read through it. But essentially, you'll be able to see, hey, it'll pull you into a dungeon. It's called Windmill of the Wild, Witch of the Wild. And then you'll be able to just drop into the dungeon here, and it'll teleport you to a new area, which you can fight stronger enemies, of course, if you wanted to farm too. But it's actually going to pull you into a story here. So again, we're going to talk to this guy here. He's going to ask us for some help, and we're going to be fighting against the, I guess, the mutated flower thing that we have here. And by all means, I'm actually recording this video as I'm, like, in the middle of, like, switching from physical crit build to more of a magic-based build. So I actually am not really that optimized at the moment, which is, I'm so, like, it triggers me a tiny bit. But again, you can kind of see what you get inside of a dungeon. It'll drop, gold, of course, different items and stuff that you'll be able to use later, and stuff that's relevant for this particular mission here. So again, the NPC will tell us, thank you so much. It seems my combat skills aren't quite what they used to be, and the wild has grown more ferocious. So again, meet me in the clearing ahead, and I'll explain everything. So this will essentially start a new, I guess, like a quest storyline for you to kind of explore this particular area, explore more of the Runiverse, kind of show you what all the Runiverse is about. So let me introduce myself properly. I'm Ezio of the Plains, a practitioner of green magic and frequent mentor to budding wizards. unfortunately, one of the buds have bloomed into a rather terrifying flower. Her name is Larissa, and in the time since I last saw her, she's been rather infamous in these parts. So I've come to try to make things right, but it seems I could really use some help if you're willing. So by all means, basically what we'll do essentially, I'll skip through the dialogue. It'll give you some pathways, and you'll have to just explore all the pathways and complete all the tasks here. So why don't we go try to find which pathway was actually opened by talking to Izio here. So I probably should have I probably should have read which pathway I was gonna take here. Oh yeah. Okay, I'm giga trolling right now. Okay, I should click never mind, but I'm sure there was a pathway that opened. Oh my god, I'm mega trolling right now. Okay, yeah. Okay, maybe I won't necessarily take a pathway right now, but yeah, it essentially bring you into a different place. Oh, actually, it's a south. So, okay, south. I can't read. Well, yeah. So we're just gonna. I'm gonna die. Oh no. So you guys are gonna watch me die? Oh no, maybe I'll live. Maybe I'll live. I was not expecting 2v1 here, but yeah, it's really important that you go into the dungeons, like, I guess, closer to, like, level 20 if you really want to survive and, like, get to the boss end games, because I know there's some really interesting bosses in these areas, right? I've been seeing it all over the Twitter timeline. I'm sure you guys have been, researching build guides and stuff like that. Best way to, really, eight damage left over? Oh my gosh. But, yeah, you can tend a good tip when you're playing the Runiverse is, usually you can go skip like to the level ahead area and you'll be able to, get more EXP faster. And here, when you come across points of interest, it'll tell you like, hey, the pool has a serene air of magic around it, but also a sense of danger. It might be worth collecting some in a bottle. So essentially, I do believe that you can try to collect it. I think it'll either give you a boon or a curse. So you fail to collect any water. When dipping in the bottle, your fingers touch the surface and a jolt of cold shoots up your arm with an electric force. So we got frostbite for 3 combats. That's great. Yeah, we're gonna just kind of have to fight out this area, and of course there are resources that you can mine and I guess cut down trees. Ooh, what is this? I haven't seen this enemy before. So yeah, you guys can see with me. So it seems like we have a wisp here. We got frostbite for like 3 combats, which kind of sucks. But I mean, I really doubt that we're gonna die. We got a lot of HP relative to the enemy here. But again, it's really awesome to just be able to swap out different spells. Again, there are a lot of combinations that synergize well with each other. Of course, you'll be able to see all of those things inside of the Mage Workshop, especially when you complete NPC quests. Usually, I would just say they're canon quests, their storyline, stuff like that. And you'll just be able to accumulate more spells that way. And additionally, I do believe like some, outside of the NPCs that also drop recipes for armor, if you defeat enough enemies in a specific area, the enemies will, in that specific region, will drop, they'll drop recipes that, belong to a specific set, of course, that, tend to synergize a lot better. Because I know maybe we'll escape this dungeon. We'll actually go back. Ooh, there's actually an NPC over here. But usually you're looking for these NPCs to talk to try to continue these quests here. But I think I might actually have to escape this dungeon here. So essentially, when you do this, you'll be able to see all the special items that you collect inside the dungeon. I know I don't necessarily have any right now. You'll be able to see the accumulated rewards as well as your party too. So I suppose I should have made a video with a bunch of people inside to kind of show the party here. But nice thing about combat, oh, I actually can't escape. But basically, usually up here there's an exit. So if you guys are losing in like a basic battle, you can escape it. I guess a little bit like Pokemon. You can even escape like elite monsters, but you can't escape like bosses. And I think the only boss that I've actually seen that I've played against is actually the electric avian boss in like the last, I guess the 15 plus area, which is the secluded springs. There may or may not be another boss like that in the dungeon areas, but I'm gonna go ahead and escape this dungeon. So then, yeah, we'll escape it. So this is what it looks like when you escape. Sometimes courage lies in living one more day to come back stronger. So again, we'll be able to close it. It'll eject us out of the dungeon and push us back at the beginning of the windmill. But again, the other dungeon that is pretty interesting is the buried pyramid, of course. I think this dungeon looks pretty dank. Of course, you got a dungeon pyramid. Of course, there's tons of people looking for parties. So I'm sure you can make friends and find a party to grind it out with. But basically, it's like a beehive pyramid. The Radiant Elixir, and this is kind of where I think you'll be able to get that quest completed here. So again, I'll leave it there for a couple seconds if you wanted to pause and kind of read through like what the dungeon lore is all about. Again, looking pretty aesthetic. I wonder who had the creative direction to put like honeycombs in the pyramids, because that's I've never seen that before. That's quite creative. So again, the diva. Okay, I'll spare from reading, but you can pause this video if you want to read through the lore. Um, but essentially, they'll have different mobs here too. I do recall there are actually 3 different regions inside of this particular dungeon. So you got the Search, the Golden Vaults, and then of course the Queen's Chamber. I know I saw on Twitter there's a gigantic, there's like a big honey queen made of honey as a boss, and that was really funny. But again, I think there are some more bugs in here too. I think you can even open up these things for like gold and stuff like that. I think there was also like whatchamacallit, there was also some honey too. Yeah, these ones drop the buffs too, so we're gonna go ahead and break it. Among the pieces of crystal, you find one particularly large stone. Okay, this was a necessary buff. This is a special item. So again, you can pick up special items. I'm not that far enough in to know what they necessarily do at the moment. What does this do? So, a statue of a beautiful woman. There's a carved inscription of the rim of the bowl she's holding and a glowing rune in the inside. You can make out the symbols, but you can't read them. Interesting. Okay, so that's a little bit lore. But again, there are spiders. I hate spiders. They're bats. There are different areas. I know there's actually like a zone. There's like a door at the very top. I actually like to farm here, especially since I'm like level 18, and these are like, I think these are stronger. So you get a lot more EXP, especially if you're like cheesing the levels. So that's a nice easy tip that you can use in order to like speed run. And then I guess I guess my commentary about the game is like you want to speed run your level first, and then you want to like farm as much as you can at the highest like armor set that you can, and then synergize with that armor set, so you can like continue throughout. You can progress through the game, and then you can focus on like the crafting end game, or when most people are like crafting their items, they're deconstructing their stuff at the temple in the city. But again, this is kind of like the aesthetic in the first initial dungeons here. Again, it has a very specific aesthetic. We got a big juicy spider here, which we're not gonna fight. I remember seeing a bee somewhere earlier, but by all means, this is kind of just one dungeon. I might as well just escape this dungeon as well, unfortunately, because I don't think I necessarily can finish this through, and I kind of want to keep it short and simple here. But we'll escape the dungeon and we'll kind of explore, hey, what can we build inside of the Runiverse? I think I'll have a different video on like the thread that they had with regards to like what are buildings for, what are lands for. They had a pretty nice infographic on X that's probably worth revisiting too. So again, I'll actually pull us back to the Cerulean Gardens. So I hope you guys had a chance to take a look at one of the major cities inside of the Runiverse. Again, I do believe in like the full version of the game. The first 4 initial cities will be available. I think it's the Blue Wizard Bastion. There's also the Yellow Wizard Capital. There's the red. There's also the Red Wizard Capital, and then I think green too. So again, once you pull this up, again, I'll spare the reading. You guys can pause if you guys want to read through this. You'll be able to pull up different districts that you'll be able to kind of explore and build inside of. Of course, you'll have to own a plot of land in order to build on it. And again, you'll be able to access that through your inventory at the top here. If it's outside of a particular district inside of like a city, if it's in like a random part of the universe, you can teleport to it. But again, there's like Cobalt Crossing, or there's like Azure Plaza. And again, by all means, it's pretty beautiful in terms of like pixel art MMORPGs. There's always a ton of people around. Of course, it's a city capital, so again, people are always going to be looking to trade. I would assume people are going to be looking to capitalize on their gains and play the game. I see people already building like homes here. This is literally a plot. I think this is a homestead, and someone's already decided to build their homestead here. And at some point, you'll be able to I know a lot of people are even making decorations, putting stuff on here. But more commonly, people are actually just dropping their gathering stations here, which you can actually interact with. I'm going to press E, and you'll be able to extract like topaz, diamond, depending on what kind of gathering station there is on that particular plot of land. So there's gems here. I think this might be a different one. Yeah, there's wood. There's also, guess, okay, he made another wood one, and then there's also, gems. So I guess some plots have better distribution of resources than others, right? So I know I saw some gathering stations that have like all of the gems, or some of them only have like sulfur and carbon. So again, that'll probably impact the, demand for particular pieces of land that have different distributions. This guy has a pretty nice yellow aesthetic house inside of the Blue Wizard capital. So again, you're not relegated to just the aesthetic of the city that your plot is on. You can build whatever you want. And again, there'll be different types of, I guess, building UI in order to deal with that. So again, if you open up the building construction tab, you'll be able to see, hey, your own place to spend the night in the Runiverse. There are different types of architectures. Of course, there's different styles depending on like how big your land is. Of course, I think I have a settlement somewhere. So again, I think that will give you access to like a medium-sized home. So again, there are different styles, different ways you can customize it, and of course there are, I guess, recipes for decorations, and different decorations that you can go hunt and basically put inside of your house and play with your friends. So by all means, that's what you can see inside of the capital, and kind of experience like, hey, what are resources? We can extract resources from our lands. We can also build our houses on our land, and then in other cases there are different things you can build, crafting. I guess you can build like mage halls and wizard halls and different things that will do different serve different purposes. You can have a temple for recycling armor into mana and stuff like that. So we'll go ahead and exit the Cerulean Academy here, and we'll actually pull back to the Hedge Wizard encampment here. So I would say, again, the Hedge Wizard encampment is probably just going to be where most people play, probably in the next build. I'm not sure. I actually don't know what's held in the next build. Of course, here is a temple where you can go recycle all your items. Is this Matto? Okay, Matto's in the box set, the cardboard box set. This is a pretty popular one. Popular set. I think it's actually farmed over here in the Secluded Spring. So the recipe can drop after you killed enough enemies, and of course the end game for the Runiverse is like pulling out a lot of mana from the temple. So when you're basically farming, killing through mobs, and farming all your resources, you deconstruct everything, you throw it into a gigantic recycling bin at the temple, and you'll get mana, and the mana will assist you in, like, I guess you can spend the mana at the Font of Memory. So I can actually pull that up here. Oh my gosh, if I can actually get to it. But basically, oh yeah, the Font of Memory, you can exchange mana for blessings from the Elsewhere. You might even earn materials, gold, and mana, quantum gifts, and even seals of tenor. So again, this includes, lands, it includes quantum gifts, different cosmetics, materials, and gold to help you progress faster, get what you want, stuff like that. And then they also have dragon boxes, of which they talked about earlier in the Discord server. I'll have to go reread that. And then they also have, like, I guess a pity roll. So, every 10th blessing guarantees a builder's crate or better. Every 250th blessing guarantees a scalebound chest, exclusive to the new Foundations event. So again, I do believe, that's a little bit different from Seals of Tenor. They did update that too. So again, that's more talking about endgame, by all means. So yeah, there's also Hammer and Board here too. I love seeing the dwarves run around, just kind of, just planning and scheming and building out. But overall, I mean, I have enjoyed the Runiverse for what it is at the current moment. I really enjoy the dungeons, and grinding it out. Again, I haven't had enough time to necessarily like give my full thoughts and like, go optimize with all of the new recipes and all of the try out and fight against the new bosses. Of course, there's a lot of spells, and I still haven't like gotten, I guess, 4 of them, which makes me kind of sad. But again, there's a lot of build paths. I'm assuming that once like there are more abilities that will drop at some point when progression, you can go past level 20 and level 15 and all that stuff. It'll get really, really cool. So again, there are different cantrips, different normal spells and stuff like that. But by all means, you'll understand when you play the game. And of course, yes. Oh yeah, I forgot to mention, I actually have my wizard skin on this time. I really enjoy that. I really like being my wizard this time around. I remember just the last time I was just like bald Lex Luthor with the Galactic set on, and it was it was kind of sad because I was like, oh my god, I needed to have more than just just the armor on. But I've been seeing people run around like the samurai set. I actually do want to see like a skeleton set somewhere. I know there's also a druid set of which I'm really salty that I probably should have grinded a lot more for. I can only really see the silhouette in, I guess, the recipe area here. So the recipe book kind of stores all the progress of like everything that you have. But there is a really cool like druid staff somewhere. Here, let me try to find it. It looks really cool. Where the heck is it? Yes, it's right here. Okay, I don't have a. You have not unlocked this weapon yet, but this weapon looks really, really cool. So there's a lot of cool stuff that you guys can explore and kind of discover inside the Runiverse. And by all means, when you build items, I mean you can craft like. Oh yeah, here's a skeleton set. This is really cool, and I know there's different ways to play it with that set. Of course, different. Um, I guess I could probably take a look at what I have equipped right now. I guess I'm kind of okay. Now it's not really that balanced. I have like a lot of constitution here. By all means, I'm not like optimized or anything. You can kind of see your EXP up here, of course, with your level and HP. And then I just have my equipped spells here. Of course, I'm just kind of running Frost Phaser with Ice Spear and Fate Reversal and Vorgating Blossom. And of course, I usually run two DPS spell or two DPS spells, one healing and one utility. I'm kind of like unbalanced right now, but I'm just kind of like play testing with what I can. Of course, I have a Storm Rod. Again, these will have different affixes: Brilliance, Grace, Durability, Full Health, gave Power to all allies. So again, these are useful, especially if you like specializing particular builds. The Storm Rod doesn't necessarily work well with a Horned Kabuto or like Banded Kasari, but again, in a transitory period with my builds and kind of exploring the Runiverse. But I did just want to show you guys a couple of the new content pieces such as the dungeons, kind of building inside of the Runiverse, of course, with like the builders tab. And then additionally, if you guys have recipes for decorations inside of your home, you'll be able to go to the atelier here. And then, of course, I only have I have a couple things. Ooh, simple tall plant. So I can actually go inscribe this into the forge, and it'll actually unlock it for me. And then I'll be able to go forge it. Oh yeah, there's the druid set. There's one guy that has a druid set. But basically, it'll kind of show you, hey, this is an interior decoration. Again, the swan figurine is also an interior or a rotational decoration. You can kind of see the cost of crafting it. You need alabaster, or in the case of like a simple tall plant, you need pine and carbon. So again, you can go out into the world. You can go chop down trees. You can go I guess harvest carbon from I guess the gaseous things coming out of the ground. But that's all I got. I mean, I love the atelier. I love the Runiverse and the heart and soul that's been put into building such a beautiful world for us to play with our friends and enjoy a very magical experience. I know I only really showed a small sliver and not even like the best, most juicy parts of the Runiverse. But again, it's really just best when you play this with friends, right? Just even 2, 3 people, even one other person with you. It's nice to, jump into a party with other people and just, I guess, just dropping into it. So again, hey, I'm sorry if I wasn't able to show you literally everything that I could have shown you inside of the Runiverse. There's a ton of places. If I tried to show you guys every single area inside of the Runiverse, it would be like an 8-hour video. And of course, we're already at like 25 minutes. So again, that was definitely a lot. I probably will be dropping more live streams the next time around. That will be very exciting. It'll be really, really cool. Of course, all the biomes, I think the Kind account actually dropped a really good map. Like they had the whole map up here. Okay. They had the whole entire maps posted of where everything is, so you guys can like navigate the Runiverse much more easily. What am I excited for like the next build? Because I know the build actually ends on the 12th at like 1 p.m. So yeah, it's gonna be pretty wild, especially when the game. I think from what I heard, there should be, I think we're still waiting for like the full game to release at some point here. We're just dropping into our open beta where there's just a ton of people on Ronin and everywhere in the ETH ecosystem just playing the game. And I know it's been like one of the top games in Web3, at least for popularity right now. So again, if you hadn't had a chance to drop in, at least just give it a chance. You know, maybe the next build, or maybe if you see this video today, I mean, hey, by all means, drop in on the 12th, I guess before 1 p.m. EST. So yeah, just give it a try. I mean, if you like Magic, if you like Wizards, if you like, I guess, lore, if you like writing your Wizard lore, if you like, community, Runiverse, Forgotten Ruins Wizard Call has one of the best. So without further ado, definitely hit that like and subscribe button. I hope you enjoyed this content. I'll definitely be dropping more content as I get things, sorted in an order. But I guess I'll have all the links in the description if you guys want to check it out. But outside of that,